and it's inherently bad. It's legislation, we've all seen it, that is passed based upon perception rather than reality. We know what the reality is. We know what all that is. It's had an interesting situation before I came down here. As I was getting on the plane in Oakland, I had a call from a reporter. And the reporter was from our particular area and from our newspaper, which is a New York Times related newspaper, and asked me the question, I see that your default rate has gone up. And why would a student go to your school with a higher default rate than the community college? And at that particular point, I went into the Keith Zachrin rant. I got mad because it was an inappropriate question. I guess it was an appropriate question, but it was certainly an attack against me. Well, after the rant, he said, thank you. He started backing off after a while, and which was a good thing. And after I got on the plane, I said, well, we don't know how this is going to come out. Well, it came out this morning in the newspaper, and to that reporter's credit, he went down the line and said the community college's default rate has increased 115% over last year. That's a nice figure. And by the way, their completion, on-time completion rate has been 30% as opposed to Empire College's 80%. So for once, we got some. And so it goes. I told that reporter, why don't you come over to the college? Why don't you visit a classroom? Why don't you go in and talk to students? Come to a graduation. Listen to the joy, the tears, the folks that are there that are a part of making this all happen, and get the feeling of why we succeed as an educational institution. Because all of us care. We care about those students. If it's those students that make us great. And when we do something like that, it reflects on the whole industry. But the folks like this reporter have to go see it. They have to see it in action to make all of that happen. It's very easy to find a disgruntled employee. It's very easy to find a disgruntled student. And then take that student or disgruntled employee and put them in a public forum in which politics are involved, then back away from that, define that as the norm, and then pass regulations or laws that are now going to affect 95% of the rest of us, when only 5% and even less should really be affected by what has truly happened here. And so we wind up with a substantiation of a false perception. And that substantiation grows because it makes headlines, you're in the newspaper, it spreads. And then it spreads into the political spectrum, it spreads into the regulatory spectrum, and we, of course, are there to battle it as we can. Yet beyond almost every relationship of a student coming to us, there's a relationship there because somebody else has gone to your institutions. Somebody has heard about your institutions, and it's been a very positive experience for them. I don't care whether they come over the internet or direct mail or your television advertising or whatever it is. There's always that connection. We are in our 50th year. We are celebrating this year our 50th year, and many of you have many years in this sector, in this industry, and are celebrating that longevity. That longevity came about because of your reputation. People are not going to go to your college if you do not have that substantial reputation that works in bringing students into your community. You deliver quality education. Be proud of it. Be proud of what you do. No business would last long without it, and yet we continue, and yet we persevere because we do it right. Yet beyond every inquiry, that relationship is there. It's wonderful. The resiliency of this sector has always come through. Don't lose sight of that. Change is for the better, for this sector will happen. It will happen. I have seen it so many times. You think you've got this hill to climb, and we have climbed it. And we get to the other side, and yes, there's another hill to climb, but we have always persevered. We have always overcome these challenges. We have always overcome these challenges that always seem to be in front of us. But we will do it. I have experienced this many, many times. Of course, the other thing you can do is pray for a Republican Senate. And only 4 have to change, folks. Just 4. That's all it takes. And so the words that I would impart to you is stay focused, please. Support this organization, CAPPS. It has done wonders in keeping many of the problems at bay or minimizing them. Stay focused on that classroom and what you do. Stay focused on those outcomes. Stay focused on those students, because they are where it all is. And you folks represent the very best that we have in this kind of sector. And don't ever lose sight of your wonderfulness, and stay the course. Thank you.